You're listening to the Content Sells podcast, the show all about how to create content to attract, convert, and keep your ideal clients. Welcome to episode 260. I'm Suzi Dafnis, and my co-host Michelle Falzon is with me. Hey, Michelle, how are you?
Hey, Suzi, I am doing very well. I am juggling quite a few balls at the moment. Lots of client projects going on, and you and I have just presented an awesome 2-day event together.
Oh my gosh. Yes. As this episode goes to air, we are hot on the heels of our new 2-day intensive called the Advanced Offer Creation program, which we delivered last week to an awesome group of women business owners in Sydney. And during the 2 days, they completely mapped out their high converting offer, everything from how to name and price their offer to how to talk about what's included from a benefits rather than features point of view, what bonuses to include, and so much more. And I really loved, as I know you did, Michelle, being in person. And it was such a great program for getting results really fast, and not just theory, but actually getting the work done and having them leave with a high converting offer.
Yeah, I too really love being in person. And you know, sometimes you've just got to put your money down, invest in the right support, create some space, get on a plane or get in a car and go somewhere that the thing that's happening that you really want to know how to do is happening in this fast track kind of deep roll up your sleeves sort of way. Put in a concerted effort and you know, those who do that get rewarded, and that's what we saw from the women who came along to Advanced Offer Creation. They were like it was chalk and cheese how they were at the end of the program versus the end. They kind of came out of it with their high converting offer plan, their offer completely dialed in, and a lot of other clarity along the way because, you know, dialing in your offer, you got to dial in a lot of other things as well, you know, as you start thinking about your business and where it fits and who you're talking to and all of those things. But, you know, this idea of kind of putting the money down, creating sort of space in your life for things that you invest in that really do move you forward in a big way. For me, that's always been the way. And I know, you know, both of us have had that experience. I look back over my life and there are times I've put down a bit of money and gone gulp, but when it's the right thing at the right time, it makes such a huge difference to how fast you can get where you want to go. And it's kind of a relevant lead into today's episode because one of the things that we offered to the people that came to the Advanced Offer Creation Intensive was to join our mastermind, which is a 12-month program, and it's our most premium product. It's our most expensive product, if you want to put it that way. And today we're talking about how to know if you're ready to add a more expensive product or service to your product mix.
That is exactly what we're talking about. And maybe you've thought about offering something more premium, a higher priced product or a service, but you weren't sure if now was the right time. And maybe you're already doing great work. You are at your capacity and you might be starting to wonder, is there a smarter way to grow? And in this episode, we're going to walk you through 6 smart questions to help you figure out whether it is time to add a more expensive product or service to the mix for your own business and how to do that in a way that increases your profit and it deepens your client relationships. And it also avoids the common pitfalls that people face when they try to go premium, if you like, without a strategy. So whether you right now are feeling maxed out or you're hearing requests from your existing clients that they want something more, or you're just sensing that it's time to elevate what you offer, our goal here with you today is to give you more clarity on how to move forward with confidence and make that impact, especially to your bottom line, when you start to add a more expensive product or service. And the good news is we've got a free bonus download to go with this episode that you can use to work through these questions on your own time. And I'll share more on how you can get that at the end of today's show.
All right, well, I'm keen. Let's dive into these 6 smart questions to know if you're ready to add a more expensive product or service to the mix in your business. And these questions have been designed, like Suzi said, to help you make an informed decision, to be really strategic about the products you add, because we're not here advocating for you to add 20 more products. But there may be room for that one really strategic product in the mix that's a higher price, that crystallizes profit for you, that allows you to work deeper with your clients. So as we go through each question, we want you to think about how these questions apply to your business. And if you find yourself nodding along to, more than a couple of these questions, that's a pretty good signal that you're ready to take that next step and offer a more expensive product. So let's jump into the first question, the first smart question to ask yourself, and that is, are you already getting results with your existing offers? Now, this one's all about building from a place of strength. If you've already got an offer that's getting results, that is, you're selling a product or a service right now, and your clients are loving it, they're getting wins, they're giving you great feedback, that's often the signal that you've got the foundation in place to bump up those prices to offer something more expensive.
Exactly. And this is actually one of the biggest myths that we see, that you have to come up with a whole new idea to have a premium offer, when in fact your premium offer is usually hiding inside of the offer that is already working in your business. It's just a deeper or more supported version of that. And we'll explain. And we see this again and again in our Marketing Success Mastermind. Someone has a group program that's going well, and then they realize there's a segment of their client base that wants more access or wants to go further, and suddenly there's a VIP day or one-on-one coaching tier that emerges really naturally. So, for example, Amanda Farmer of Your Strata Property has a membership for strata owners and managers. She helps them navigate apartment living. Now, she delivers incredible results. She found that the strata managers could be supported even further in her membership by offering actually a pro level of her membership. We helped her put together an offer that is substantially higher in dollar value than the regular membership level, and now it's become one of the big drivers and big focuses in her business.
Right. So she was already getting results in her lower priced membership. And so that helped her to identify the group of people inside that membership that she could more deeply serve. The people who wanted more one-to-one support, who had more sophisticated questions, who needed maybe the more detailed templates or wanted to climb inside of certain regulations and things like that, that perhaps the apartment owners that were in her regular membership did not. And she could also identify that this was a group that would be prepared to pay more for that deeper access to her, that kind of ongoing, more sophisticated level of support. So your existing product gives you this new layer of insight into your audience and who's wanting more. It also gives you the experience that, hey, I can deliver these results, and it gives you confidence that you can go deeper with people. So Amanda had, I know she had to, we helped her a little bit with that, like crossing that Rubicon into offering a higher priced item. And we're all going to feel that every single time. That's completely normal. And thankfully for Amanda, she had some sounding boards that were sort of able there and able to help her with that. But once she got into really thinking about this pro level, she could see from her own experience, from her insight into the existing membership, that she could do this and that she had clients who wanted this. And she was able to move forward confidently. And now, of course, she's completely sold on the value of this, and she's got so many more members than she might have ever imagined at the pro level.
So existing product, already getting results, but going further. And this leads nicely into our second smart question, which is there a segment of your audience already asking for more? Now, this is one of my favorite questions, because in many cases, your clients are already telling you that they want a premium offer. You just haven't created it yet. And here's what it might sound like. Do you offer this one-on-one? Or can I work with you privately? Or can I pay you to do this for me? Or even, oh, I wish this program went longer. Now, these are all indicators that there's more demand in the market for a more premium version of what you are providing. And you want to be paying attention to those clues.
100% on that. We can get this kind of feedback, and here's what can happen. We think, oh, that's nice to hear, and we keep trudging on in our merry way, selling our low ticket offer on repeat. But if you're hearing these signals, especially from your best fit clients, that's a really important key. It could be time to create a more expensive offer that's perhaps more intimate or a higher value experience for those people. Now, we're going to go into more detail a little later to help you think about what type of higher price product to think about when you're starting to get these signals. We'll talk about that a bit later in the show. But if you're seeing these signs, these clues from clients about how they might want to do something faster or get more access to you or get extra resources or support that's going to make it easier for them to achieve the outcome you're helping them with, or that gives them some kind of status or exclusivity, these are all signs that there could be a higher priced product in your future. So have a think about that question. Is there a segment of your audience already asking for more? Now, they might not be coming right out and saying, please, would you charge me more money for another more expensive product? But they are giving you the kinds of clues that Suzi and I have just shared with you. So put your antenna up for those clues. Now let's move on to our third smart question, which is, are you serving right now? Are you currently serving at capacity, but you're still not seeing the revenue you want? Now, this one hits home for a lot of people. You're booked out, you're delivering great work, the calendar is full, you're doing everything right, and yet the numbers, the revenue, the profit still aren't where you want them to be. And here is the really hard part. It is super easy to get stuck here because you can be too busy doing the doing, being completely booked out, to pop your head up and do something about it, to get strategic, to design that new, more expensive product or service, because it can all feel really overwhelming. No, I can't add another thing to my to-do list. Like, my calendar is full. I'm tired. I'm flopping into bed at night, exhausted. And yet a higher priced offer is likely exactly what you need and exactly what will take the overwhelm, the stress, and the overworking that you're presently experiencing out of that equation for you. Now, when you're out of time and you're out of bandwidth, one of the only ways to grow is to shift into a higher value offer, to add a more expensive product or service to your product mix. And when you do that, it gives you a way to earn more, serve fewer clients more deeply, and free yourself from that constant delivery treadmill that you might be on right now.
And as you're saying that, Michelle, I'm thinking about our mastermind member, Tasha. Now, Tasha Jennings is a naturopath. She helps women conceive naturally, and she was a beautiful problem to have. She was fully booked out, offering one-on-one consultations with these women who were looking for support. She was working nights. She was overwhelmed, 2 young kids, and really no time to do any other business growth. And she knew that she wanted to step out of this. So what she did initially was, at our recommendation, she put up her prices, and absolutely nothing changed. She was still booked out. And at our encouragement, we said again, put them up again. And she put them up again, and again, nothing changed, which tells us a couple of things, right? One, she was probably undercharging, but she's so valued and people want more. And our next bit of encouragement was to make one-on-one access to her premium service, to charge a lot more for it, but then to offer something that would allow her to help many, many more women with the main issues they were having with conceiving naturally. And so now she has a beautiful course called Your Fertile Pantry. She's able to help thousands of women. And then those who do that program, if they want to go further, then they can buy into her one-on-one. So people go through her program, and then a few of them will go on to do her one-on-one services, and at a price that she's now charging, which is the right price to be charging for that level of service. And it's just transformed her business. It's not only, put her in the right direction, but it's also just freed up her time. And she can have those nights back. She's not as overwhelmed. She knows that she's helping more women than with the old model. That was really just her exchanging for her time for not enough money.
I love that reframe too there, Suzi, because we're talking about adding a more expensive product or service to the mix. And in that example, it's like a reframe. It's like thinking about your one-to-one that you might be undervaluing right now as your more expensive product, like positioning it as the upsell and then building a lower priced item that works kind of in contrast with that, which is exactly what Tasha did. And, these higher priced offers, the more expensive offer does require a mindset shift. And, that wasn't easy for Tasha. And she, it took place over a period of time. She kind of ratcheted it up. It was still full calendar, ratcheted it up again, still full calendar. And it wasn't until she really went, I'm going to think about my one-to-one not as the main thing, that the main way I help everybody, and that I have to keep my prices low and that I've got to work nights, but that I'm going to make that my premium product, my more expensive product, and I'm going to build a lower priced product. Because the thing is, we want to help everyone. As you're listening, you've likely got expertise, a skill set, a product that makes a difference in people's lives, and you want to help as many people as possible. And this kind of mind trick starts to happen to us. We can feel selfish if we say, well, I'm now offering this more expensive product, or I'm taking my one-to-one access and making that the more expensive thing, and I'm putting like a course or something more automated in as the entry-level product that everybody buys. And we feel potentially like we're ruling people out of getting the help they need. But that is not what we're talking about here. Your business is like an ecosystem. There are lower priced items and there are higher priced items. And when you design that well, you can actually help a lot more people in a way that doesn't require as much of your one-to-one time, if you're somebody that sells one-to-one services right now. And then offer higher priced items where somebody gets more bespoke service from you, the one-to-one access, the done for you service, the several days with you in a small group on a tropical island at a retreat, or whatever that more expensive product or service might be. So you can actually help more people and be doing the kind of work you love doing, and freed up from the daily grind of that repetitive stuff that you can automate or that you can build products and services for, and helping people in that more substantial way where you get rewarded. And because you're getting rewarded, you can invest in really helping people get massive transformation. And that's what Tasha found. And even with all of that, her higher priced premium one-to-one service is still considerably lower than the way somebody might have to solve that problem otherwise. She helps women to conceive naturally through her natural kind of approach through, she's a naturopath. Now, the alternative is for somebody to spend literally tens of thousands of dollars on IVF. So she's still adding huge value to people at a lower price than what it would cost them to solve that problem in another way. So have a think about, how are you thinking about your customer journey? Are you over-delivering and undercharging with a product right now that perhaps should be a more expensive product? Do you need to rethink how much access people get to you, like Tasha and Amanda did?
Absolutely. Great questions. And when we ask great questions, we get better results. So thank you for that, Michelle. And we adore both Amanda
Yeah.
and
The gorgeous Tasha.
the gorgeous Tasha. And we've seen their businesses go, just become more solid, more sustainable by doing exactly what we're talking here. Thinking about how to do something more expensive, knowing that, they want to serve their clients at the highest level, but they also want to serve their businesses at the highest level. And this thinking about not going into what you said, Michelle, which is like, does it, is it weird if I charge more? No, because you're going to attract the people who want to pay more, because they're going to get more access to you. They're going to get, the real gold of what you offer. So thank you for sharing both their stories. So I want to move on to our fourth question to help you determine if it's time to add a more expensive product to your product mix. And that question is, are you still relying on new leads to grow when you could be earning more from the clients that you already have? Now, this one is actually a multifaceted kind of question. So let me start with this. Firstly, it's another one of those strategic mindset shifts that can change everything, because a lot of people think they need more clients to grow, but that is not always the case. I mean, we hear it all the time, Michelle. I need more clients, I need more leads. But when we scratch beneath the surface, we can see that they're probably not making the most of the clients that they already have. Now, if you're getting results for your current clients, there's a huge opportunity to increase the lifetime value of those clients rather than always having to find new ones. And what I mean by that is, a premium offer can become really powerful here because it lets you go deeper with the people who already know you, they already trust you. So instead of needing more leads, you're generating more revenue from better offers. And if I think about Seth Godin, the marketer, he always talks about finding your ideal client and then creating products and services for them. not having to keep going and getting new clients. So as long as we're really clear who the ideal client is, we can create an offer, an introductory offer, and we can then create subsequent offers for them. The other thing, when you use this type of thinking, it just simplifies your marketing. And we're going to give you some examples of how we've done that at Her Business, but it allows you to focus in on serving the clients you have and then creating the next step for them, rather than having to look outside and always be out there in the world going, buy my thing, to people who don't know, like, and trust you, when there are people already there who are like, tell me the next thing, Suzi. Tell me the next thing and I'll buy it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And I think to that point, it also helps you to serve people better. They're just trying to do the lowest cost thing and just keep churning new people through that low cost thing. It's a high volume game. It's kind of like, as my dad used to say, it's a mugs game. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard work to do that. And yet adding a more expensive product, it's like adding the cream on top in terms of profitability and revenue, but it's also adding the cream on top for the people you're wanting to help. There's only so much you can do for $197, but the person that you're working with for a $2,000 service or a $20,000 service, you can help them in a much more profound way. And the point you made about having to get all these new people all the time to know, like, and trust you again, that's also really hard work. And by making more expensive offers to the people you already have, it is so much more efficient from a marketing perspective. And this is so true. Like, right now, if your marketing is already feeling like a lot to manage, just like dialing that up to double the number of leads you're getting in your business might just make you want to close everything down. It's like, how can I possibly put twice the effort into this? Well, what if you didn't have to put twice the effort in? What if you could be smarter about this and offer a more expensive product or service to the leads you already got, to the customers who already said yes to you? So a premium offer can be a smart way to grow without growing your to-do list. It is so much easier to move someone from a low ticket to a higher priced product, because once they've bought from you once, they are so much more likely to buy from you again. How much more likely to buy from you again? Well, various studies have shown that a customer who has purchased from you the first time is 76% more likely to buy from you again. And that next sale, even for a higher price, more expensive item, product or service, can be so much easier than the first. A repeat customer is 9 times more likely to convert than a first-time customer. So if you've got somebody who's already bought from you, they're 9 times more likely to buy the next thing you offer them than a first-time customer, somebody who hasn't bought from you. Now, we've talked a lot on this show about this concept of marketing mountains. It's a really great way, an easy way, a visual way to think about the products and services in your product mix. So think about each of the products you sell as being one mountain in your marketing mountain range. And each mountain has a specific thing at the top, like with a specific price point. So if you sell courses, that's not a mountain. If you've got 3 courses, you've got 3 mountains. You've got course A at $197, course B at $500, and course C at $1,000. So that's 3 different mountains. And so if you think about that mountain, your ideal client's at the bottom of the mountain right now. And your job as a marketer, as a business owner, is to get them to climb that mountain, go to the top, and buy from you. And getting someone to climb from the bottom of the mountain to the top of the mountain, as Suzi said, getting them to know you, like you, trust you, sign up for your lead magnet, come to your webinar, book in for a sales conversation, whatever your sales process is, it takes time, it takes energy, it takes effort. And not everybody, in fact, only a small number of people that start this journey ever finish the journey and buy from you. So, you might be doing a lead magnet, webinar, emails, calls, follow-ups, but then you get them buying your $497 thing. It took a huge amount of effort to spend $500 with you. But guess what? Because now they've bought from you, it might not take very much effort at all to get them to buy your $5,000 done-for-you service. So you spend all this time and effort getting them to buy your $497 course. They do it. They know you. They like you. They trust you. They're more likely to buy from you again. We know that from the stats. And all you might need to do is offer a short conversation at the end of the course to invite them to come into this $5,000 program. And this is this idea of ski lifting from one mountaintop to the next. I don't have to, if I've bought your course, Suzi, at $497, I don't go back to the bottom of the $5,000 mountain. All you get to do is just ski lift me from mountaintop to mountaintop. And this is where the leverage is in your business. This is where you can make life easier for yourself. This is where you're probably already leaving money on the table, where you're knocking yourself out just by getting more and more and more and more people into your $497 course, when what you could be doing is adding a more expensive product that people can do next after the course, where you make more from the people you've already got. So how you think about your mountain range, how you think about each of the products and how they even sequence what one you offer first, and then how do you set up the offer for the next mountain while you're delivering the first mountain. These are the things that are really key. And we go into this in great depth inside the Marketing Success Mastermind. We've got other episodes on the Marketing Mountain, which we'll share a link to. And we've also got a visual of the mountain, which we'll put into today's handy dandy download for you with the 6 questions to help you really think about this mountain concept.
Yeah, love that. Yeah. And we love this mountain concept. And the women we were with just last week just loved it, because what they did over the 2 days with us is, they mapped out their mountains. They looked at the one that was going to give them the most leverage. And then that's the one that we worked on for the 2 days to create their high converting offer. And so definitely get the download that comes with this so that you can see this visually when you see the mountains and understand the mountain range and this idea of ski lifting that Michelle said. It can really just turn things around in your business, because then you think about, well, what do I want people to buy first? And then how am I going to create these opportunities for people to be ski lifted between mountains? Very, very powerful concept that we've talked about many times here on the show. But if you're a new listener, or perhaps it's been a while since you dug into that, then you'll be able to do that looking at today's download. I want to give a couple of examples of exactly what Michelle was outlining. And the first one is from our masterminder and a nationally recognized HR expert, Christy Lee from People Powered Business. Now, for many, many years, over 10 years for sure, Christy Lee has been helping people put the right people on the bus as far as they're recruiting the right people for their team, helping them with the interviews, onboarding, all the things. She's worked with many, many of our members to help them get the leverage through bringing on the right team members. So she was doing that on an hourly rate or a set rate, private coaching, mentoring, that sort of thing, which is great. Then she introduced a $97 a month membership called People Powered HR, where business owners can get access to templates and advice and support and be in a community of other business owners for $97 a month. What she realized was that some business owners wanted to work more closely with her. Now, separate to the one-on-one, to the recruiting, what they wanted was support in leadership to become a better boss. And so she developed a Power Boss program, which is $997 a month. Now, that's a big difference between $97 a month and $997, or an hourly rate that she might charge a couple of hours to help someone craft an ad, for example. And so she's added this new revenue stream, a more expensive service to her mix, because one, she has this wonderful experience. People were asking for it. She had an existing client base that she could offer this to. So she's not out in the world saying, join my Power Boss program. She's going to the women who are she's already been serving, whether on a one-on-one rate or whether through her membership, and offering them this higher ticket item. The other example I want to give is from her business. So her business has a number of marketing mountains, including the wonderful Her Business Network, which is a $2,000 a year program, or you can pay $197 a month. And that is kind of a self-paced monthly support to help you grow your business and give you access to a network and resources and a bunch of support. Our Marketing Success Mastermind, the one that Michelle and I run, came out of this experience. We offered the women in our network a course. This is a number of years back, almost 10 years back. And it was a course called, similarly to this program, it was called Content Sales.
Memories.
And we get to the end of the course, which was a great course. People walked away with huge, benefits and an uplift in their marketing skill and their plans and understanding their ideal client and all sorts of things. And they would say, I need more. I need more. And at the time, we didn't have a more. And so after hearing this over 2 or 3 courses, we thought, okay, how can we create a more? And so we created the Marketing Success Mastermind, which is coming up to its 10th year now. Now, this is a $24,000 to $27,000 program, depending on how you pay, that is transformational. It is the way that we are supporting women at the deepest level, not just once or twice or over 2 days, but over a whole year, having 24/7 access. Now, Michelle is a highly paid consultant in her area of genius. She's $10,000 a day, not accessible to most business owners. But where you can get her support is inside the Marketing Success Mastermind. I spend most of my time working with members in the Her Business Network. I do not do private coaching. And so the only way that you can work with me at that deeper level, ongoingly for a whole year, is the Marketing Success Mastermind. But we sometimes, like we get listeners of this show saying, can I please join the mastermind? But mostly the women who join the mastermind are women who know, like, and trust us because maybe they started here on the show, they join the Her Business Network, or they come to one of the events that Michelle and I do that might be a lower priced product or service, and then they will ski lift across to the mastermind. Similarly, women who are in the Her Business Network are the most likely women to come to our retreats. We've got a retreat where we're taking 10 women to Greece in October for a business retreat that is priced accordingly. It's a luxury experience. But who is it for? Sure, if you're not a member, you could come. But we know that we designed it for our members, for women who already know, like, and trust us as an organization who delivers amazing retreats. So the candidates for our high ticket services are our existing clients who know, like, and trust. You've heard these terms about 3 times already, and who understand our mission and our values and what we stand for and the transformation that they can get from working with me more deeply or working with me and Michelle in the case of the mastermind more deeply. Anything you want to add, Michelle, before I move on?
I think you've just done such a great job kind of articulating the concept of the mountains, and this is why you want to make time in your business to be strategic, to ask smart questions, which is what we're trying to facilitate for you today. We can be head down and bum up all the time and just work ourselves into a little corner that we can't get ourselves out of, constantly over-delivering, undercharging, and I get it. If you're there right now, it is so easy to get there. I have been there. The way out of that is to ask smart questions, is to get mentors, is to put yourself around the people who have already done the thing that you're trying to do. And I just love that you've articulated a real life example, because I know I need to learn through examples, and I like hearing the concepts and the sort of the strategies and the frameworks, but then I want to know, well, who's doing this? Like someone like me doing this. And I think, Christy Lee, Amanda, Tasha, your example, these are what makes the concepts real.
Yeah. And so it takes taking time and space. It's hard to be strategic when you're running a million miles an hour. This is kind of, I'm going off book for a minute, but create the space, create the environment, create the conditions where you can do this thinking, where you can look at your products. Because we're not saying, hey, just throw in a more expensive product or service. How does it fit into your product suite? Where does it fit? What price point should it be? Who are the likely clients to come? We could go so much deeper, but we have more questions. We have more smart questions. So we need to move on, Michelle.
That's right. And it's in the download, right? That's why we've created this download. So you can take this time after this episode, grab the download, give yourself the time to think this through in a deeper way.
All right, let's get to question number 5, and that is, do you have a clear transformation that you can deliver at a higher level? Now, this is really important. And here I want to talk for a moment about this idea of transformation. What does that even mean? Because that is what a premium offer, a more expensive product or service, is really about. And by transformation, what do I mean? I mean, what is the before and after journey that your client experiences as a result of working with you or buying from you? Now, the transformation is not the nuts and bolts of what they get when they buy, like 5 coaching sessions or a workbook or sterling silver handcrafted jewelry. That is not the transformation. The transformation is who they become, or what their life, business, family, well-being looks like backyard, right? If you service pools, looks like. It's not about what they get, it's about what changes things for them. So, a simple example is say you run a 4-week copywriting coaching program. You could talk about the features. For example, you get 4 60-minute Zoom sessions with me. Great. Now, watch what happens when we actually speak about the transformation instead. Here we go. By the end of our 4 weeks together, you'll have a compelling, high-converting sales page and the confidence to finally publish it, knowing it reflects your value and speaks directly to your ideal client. Totally different.
I love that. I know exactly what I'm going to get at the end of the process. And people are far less concerned about the nuts and bolts, the process. They want to know, what's my outcome? And we're also focused on the nuts and bolts, that we want to tell them all about all these amazing things that we've built into the program. And it's just like death by 1,000 cuts for the people that we want to actually get interested in our product. What they're interested in is what it means to them. And I love that example of the transformation. Let's take this even further, because it's not just about having that sales page, right? It's about what that sales page makes possible. And you could take this as far as you want, you know? So let's speak even further into that transformation that Suzi's already so beautifully illustrated. This client could experience a whole lot as a result of having that sales page that they finally have the confidence to publish. And maybe you could share that they'll finally have a reliable way to attract their best clients on autopilot. You could say something like, imagine waking up to new inquiries from people who already get what you do because your sales page has done the heavy lifting. You see how we're forward pacing them into the future of what life looks like? It's about, you might say to them, it's about reclaiming your time, building consistent income, and finally feeling control of your marketing. So now we're not just selling a copywriting package, we're selling confidence, we're selling ease, we're selling consistent leads, we're selling a life where I'm getting these people that just want to work with me because my sales page is out there doing all the heavy lifting and I've got time to do other stuff, like maybe I want to travel or work less, or I want to do things that require money and now I've got more profit in my business. I can go and do those things I want to do. And the transformation really matters, and you want to be telling the story of the transformation that matters most to your ideal client.
Absolutely. And that's the magic when you focus on transformation, no matter what price point your offer is, but it's especially important when you're making a high-priced offer. So even the little things we sell, they offer some sort of transformation and people aren't buying the features. But when you're making a high-priced offer, this becomes even more important. You need to paint a picture of what that result is going to be. And when you can do that, people will pay more and they'll get more excited about the transformation, not about the logistics. A lot of people think a high-ticket offer or a more expensive product or service just means adding more sessions or more bonuses or more hours, but that's not it. The value isn't in the number of deliverables. It's in the size and depth of the transformation that you're offering. And you want to wind that up, wind that back and listen to that again. You know, it's not about just adding more stuff, right, to make it look like, oh, well, that must be worth it. It is about how is life going to be different for me now because I have done this deeper work with you or had more access to you or worked with you over a longer period of time or whatever it is that you're creating that is the more expensive service.
You're right on it. You're right on it, Suzi, and I agree. Go back, hit the, back 30 seconds on your podcast app right now and listen to that again. That was absolutely the crux of it. And it's so related to this episode because we're talking about you potentially adding a more expensive product or service to the mix. And if you can help someone get a faster result, solve a more complex problem, or access a deeper level of support, and you can really paint the picture of that transformation, people will pay you more for it. And of course, it's different for every business. For some, that transformation might be helping someone launch a course in 30 days. For others, it might be giving them the confidence and the tools to finally step into leadership role in their organization or to triple their client base. So as you're listening to this, just ask yourself, what is the level of transformation I know how to deliver? And how can I package that in a way that gives my client the best possible path to success? Because that is the doorway into thinking about what your more expensive product or service could be about, could be delivering on, the results it could be providing. Now, we're making great progress. Let's dive into our sixth and final smart question to us so you know if it's time to introduce a more expensive product or service into your product mix. And that question is, are you willing to say this is not for everyone? Now, this is such a powerful one because it's not just about what's in the offer, although it's important, and especially the transformation piece that we've just been talking about, but it's also how you position the offer. And when it comes to more expensive offers in your product mix, they are not for everyone. They're not even for all the clients that you might currently have at lower price levels. And you're not trying to convince everyone to say yes. You're inviting the right people to take this more expensive next step with you. Because in every market, and yes, even yours, because we can all think, no, that's not the case in my market, but it is. I know Suzi and I have seen so many vastly different markets from, arts and crafts to, business and finance and personal development and creativity and relationships and money and every kind of area that you can think of. There are always people in a market. There's always a percentage of people who will buy the more expensive thing. And this is an important thing to get our heads around. Now, that may mean of the 100 people who buy your entry-level, lower-priced product, they come up the mountain, remember? Maybe only 10 will buy your next most expensive offer, will ski lift over. So you get 100 people to the top of the first mountain, you might only get 10 of them over to your next mountain. And then if you've got another more expensive mountain, of those 10, you might only get one over to your most expensive next step, your most expensive mountain. But let's just decode the numbers on that. Even if only 10% of people buy something that's 10 times more expensive than your entry-level product, and only 1% buy the thing that's 10 times more expensive than that again, you can make a massive difference to your profitability with just those 11 sales. So I was talking in numbers and percentages there. Remember, 100 people, 10% of them, that's 10 people, buy your next most expensive thing. And then 1% of those 100 people, that's just one person, moves on to buy your most expensive thing. So you sold 100 people your entry-level thing. You've sold 10 people your next most expensive thing. And you've sold one person your most expensive thing. So 11 people have bought your more expensive products. But those 11 sales can completely transform your business. And of course, if you're thinking in percentages, let's say you serve 1,000 people, 10% and 1%. You serve 100,000 people, 10% and 1% might go on to buy your more expensive things. So let's put some dollar figures on this. And stay with me. I know I'm talking about numbers, but I hope this is all following along. Let's say what you sell at your entry-level mountain is $100. Now, if 100 people buy that, they make that first journey up the mountain, and that's the hardest one, remember, that's $10,000 in revenue to your business. But if you can then offer those 100 people something that's 10 times the price, now it's $1,000. You've got a $1,000 more expensive product. It's $1,000. Only 10% of those 100 might buy that. So that's 10 people have now paid you an additional $1,000 each. That's another $10,000 from just 10 clients. And if you can offer those clients something for $10,000, right? So we started at $100. We had 100 people buy it. We got 10 people buy something at $1,000. And now if only one of those buys something for $10,000, we've got progressively more expensive. That's another $10,000. So 100 clients to get your first $10,000, and then only 10 sales to those existing clients. Remember, that's an easier sale to make to get your next $10,000. And then only one sale to get your next $10,000. Now, this is just an example. You can apply it to whatever the numbers look like in your business. But in this example, you can see how you could triple your revenue and likely radically increase your profitability by adding this more expensive offer or two into the mix, and you haven't had to go and find hundreds more clients. Like to make $30,000 from $100 product is so much more hard work.
Yeah. And to Michelle's point, map these numbers across to your price points. And, think bigger than perhaps you've done in the past. But that idea of 100 clients, 10%, and then 1% is the main message there. But you can see how it can just change that bottom line very, very quickly. And like Michelle said, without you having to go hunting for new clients. Like it's probably already sitting there right in what you do. And as you think about those offers, take into account what we've been talking about. Think about that journey. What is the newer problem that your clients have that you can now solve if you offer them this more expensive opportunity to go deeper in whatever it is that they need support with. Now, we have a great episode to help you think this process through with this idea of, well, what is the next problem that my next thing is the solution to? And it comes from actually episode 66, which is named Turning Content into Sales with the Problem Solution Dance. And that dance is one of solving one problem and then being really clear and pointing out what the next problem is. And it is key to how you move someone up to those progressively higher price points and offers that you make. And we're going to put a link to that episode in today's show notes, which I'll tell you how to get in a few minutes.
Yeah, love it. And do check that out. That's probably one of our more popular episodes. And it's one, I don't know, I feel like I'm referring people to that on a almost daily basis. So one last thing on pricing and positioning and this idea that your high ticket offer might not be for everyone. That's the question we're kind of posing for you as our sixth question. Are you prepared to say, hey, this thing isn't for everyone? You do not have to apologize for the price. This offer isn't for everyone, but for the person it is for, it is exactly what they need, and they will see the value in it, especially if you can paint the transformation, especially if you've got the track record and the confidence to know that you can deliver those results. So as you think about what your more expensive offers might be, I just want to loop back around to a promise that we made earlier, which was to give you some tips on how to think about what type of product or service you might offer. So you might have answered these 6 questions and gone, it is time for me to add a more expensive product or service to my mix. And so what then might you be looking at? What kind of tips can we give you as you think about what format this takes, how much you might charge, what transformation you might deliver? And so a couple of global things that apply to every sort of more expensive product that you might offer. The first is speed. So if you can help someone get a result faster, a result you might already be delivering, they will pay a premium for that. So think VIP days, express programs, implementation sprints. The advanced offer creation event that Suzi and I ran last week was an example of that. It's more expensive than being in the Her Business Network, but it gets you the outcome at speed, 2 days with us to really get that result of a high converting offer fast. The other thing people will pay for is access. This is about access to you or to someone with authority or access to a special community or whatever it might be. So that might be private coaching, small group sessions, personal feedback, inner circle groups, those kinds of things. People value proximity. Now, again, advanced offer creation, the 2-day intensive we did provided that too. And your more expensive offer might provide a few of these things. People got speed, but they also got access to Suzi and I. The same in the Her Business Marketing Success Mastermind. We help people get done in a year what could take them 3 years or maybe never get to the results. So there's speed in there. There's access to us. There's access to the other great women. So speed, access. Another thing to think about is ease. If your offer takes the pressure off, it makes things simpler or removes decision fatigue, that ease becomes part of the value that somebody will pay for a more expensive offer than what you might have right now. So this might include things that have templates or concierge support or a step-by-step framework. It might be a done-for-you service. Maybe you're teaching them how to do something and they can pay you more for you to do it for them, or a done-with-you service where you sort of coach alongside them. People pay to not have to do the thing themselves. Like I do that every day. Or they pay to make it easier on themselves or their team or others that might be key stakeholders like family members if you sell something that's relevant to families and so on. There's a few other things as well, Susie, in terms of the kind of like global traits of these more expensive products.
One of those is status, which I love.
Yeah.
I know I love to feel like I'm part of something special, and people will pay more to signal something about themselves, that they value quality, that they're ahead of the curve, they're in with the cool kids, or, they belong at the top. They deserve the best. And a premium offer gives them something to show for it, whether it's being part of an elite group that may have a limited number of people on it, or gaining early or exclusive access, or owning the best of the best in your category. And in some cases, it's not just about the result, it's about the recognition that comes with it. That's why you see high-level coaching programs called the Platinum Program or the Insider's Circle. And yes, it's our ego, but we love status. We want to be special. And status often goes hand in hand with a couple of things I just mentioned. One is exclusivity, being part of a small group, being there by application or invitation only. Those things create desire and they signal quality. And premium isn't for anyone. As Michelle said, it's not for everyone. And so don't pretend it is. Actually go forth and say, this is not for everyone. This is how you qualify to be part of this thing. That's what is part of making it valuable. And those who get in on the inside, they value it more because they know it's special. The other one is certainty. And this one's kind of subtle, but it's big. People will pay more when they feel confident that it will actually work for them. How do you do that? Your track record, your clarity, how will you speak to this specific situation? That can all increase perceived value, as can things like your client stories, the fact that you have done this before or done this for a long time. Those things are important for people as well. That is your credibility, and that is what gives them certainty that it'll actually work for them too.
So good. And I want to just loop back around sort of full circle to what we were saying earlier about transformation. That is also a really key kind of global thing to be thinking about as you're pondering, hey, maybe I really do need to add a more expensive product to the mix. At the end of the day, people pay for change. They pay for the result. They pay for the transformation. So maybe it's a bigger transformation in terms of results or confidence or mindset or business growth. And so you want to be thinking about, how do I deliver a transformation that somebody else is going to see as premium, that I can charge a more expensive price for than what I'm currently charging for the products and services that I deliver? So as you start thinking about creating your own premium offer, look at this list. Which of these drivers that we've just been talking about, things like speed, access, ease, status, exclusivity, certainty, powerful transformation, which of these are already in your work? Which ones could you turn up the dial on? Which of these could you build a product idea around? Remember, it's not about adding more stuff. It's about creating a more powerful, valuable experience, one that justifies the price because it delivers the result in those areas we've just been discussing.
And I'm very excited to see more and more women creating more expensive products and services. Because as we know, and we often say here on the show, so many of us just undercharge, or we strap ourselves into a business model that keeps us exchanging our time for money and not enough money. So go forth, grab the download and think about these 6 questions. And I'm just going to recap them here. And I hope that in listening today that you are thinking, yeah, I really do want a more expensive offer added to my mix. So here are the questions. Are you already getting results for your existing offers? So if your current offer is working, you may already have the foundation for something more premium. Question number 2, is there a segment of your audience asking for more? Now, your best clients might already be telling you that they want a deeper or next level experience. Smart question number 3, Are you serving at capacity but still not seeing the revenue you want? This premium offer, this more expensive offer, can help you earn more without taking on more clients or working more hours, and hallelujah to that. Number 4 is, are you relying on new leads to grow when you could be earning from clients you already have? This is kind of like a secret weapon. Increasing your client lifetime value is often easier and more profitable than chasing new leads. Number 5, do you have a clear transformation that you can deliver at a higher level? And as we said, both Michelle and I talked about this, people pay more for outcomes, not for more stuff, not for deliverables. And premium offers are built on meaningful transformations that your clients are going to love. And number 6 is, are you willing to say, this isn't for everyone? Premium positioning is about focus. It's about attracting the right clients and being okay that what you're offering is not for everyone. Now, in a moment, I'm going to share with you how to get the handy download that goes with this episode, and it walks you through these questions. And it also includes other links and resources that we mentioned today. But first, I've really loved having this conversation, Michelle. I know you have too, because we're very passionate about it.
I love it. Yeah, more expensive products. Stop undercharging.
Yeah, and hopefully you've enjoyed this. We love making this show, and we love it when you actually put in place what it is that we are sharing here. And we're always sharing from our own experience. These are things that we've worked on ourselves. Our show has over 100 5-star reviews. We are so proud of that. And we want to ask you something. If you enjoyed today's episode, if you are taking something away, we would love it if you would leave us a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts. Now, one person who recently left us a review is the wonderful Frida Ma of Sales Pod. She is one of our masterminders, as it so happens, and she was commenting on episode 251, which was called Winning Proposals, How to Get More Clients to Say Yes More Often. Very popular episode. Now, a little bit about Frida. She works with leaders of small and medium businesses to help them find and to implement the right customer-facing technology, like CRM systems. And she does this with her consulting services, which are her more expensive offers, but also she's got a lower priced offer, which is her CRM game plan course. And she said this was a 5-star review she left on Apple. It said, 5 stars, relevant and informative. Just listening to the proposal episode, such great and easy to implement ideas to lift my proposal. So that's one to definitely check out if you pitch for business with proposals. Now, anything we've mentioned here on the show and the fabulous download that we've created for you, you can find over at herbusiness.com/more expensive. That's herbusiness.com/more expensive. That is today's show, but we have another great episode coming up in episode 261. Michelle, would you tease us about what that's going to be about?
Oh, I love to tease. So this is all about how it's actually an AI-related topic, and we realized we haven't actually talked about AI for a little while, and it's about time that we revisited this topic as it becomes more and more pervasive in our lives. And so we thought, why don't we peel the curtain back a little and talk about some of the ways that we are personally using AI to save ourselves time with our content creation, our content planning, and so on. And so we're going to be talking about 6 ways that AI is saving us time with our content. And these are like actual practical use cases that you might be, well, I do that already, or, I hadn't thought about doing that, or I'm sort of doing this, but you've given me a new distinction there. And we look forward to sharing those with you on the next episode.
And to get that next episode, if you don't already subscribe to the show, just hit follow or subscribe wherever you are listening. Michelle, anything you want to say before we go?
I really feel like we've left it on the field today. If you are thinking about adding a more expensive product or service to the mix, or maybe you've never thought about before and this has stirred some things up in you, push some buttons, be prepared for it to maybe have you feeling a little bit like, should I do this? I'm a little bit uncomfortable, but I encourage you to stick with that discomfort. There is so much good stuff on the other side when you can introduce a more expensive product or service to the mix.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time right here on the Content Source podcast. Bye for now.